And Trev, it is the only Game 3 going down because the last game, 8:30 kickoff in the Lou, Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, these Cardinals in St. Louis, one of the best baseball cities that you'll come upon. Phillies, they stole that game yesterday. Or did they take that game? Aaron Nola on the bump.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
One of the best pitchers in baseball. Miles Michaelis, huge season. Awesome mustache. He comes out. Second inning, no doubt. Trev's guy. Bryce Harper. Oh, there's no doubters, and there's that. Just a video game home run from Bryce Harper. Solo shot, 435 feet in the second inning. And it would stay that way because Michaelis was good. Aaron Nola was pretty dominant. 4 hits, 1 walk, no earned runs through 6.2. The Phillies get another run on a sac fly. They got a lot of action on the bases. My guy Monty is fighting through 2.2 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, no earnies. Gallegos and Hicks, they do their job out of the St. Louis bullpen. And then we see this Phillies pen, a bullpen we've talked about a lot over the last couple years. Alvarado comes out. Walk, gets 2 outs. Sir Anthony Dominguez, 1 hit, no walks, 2 Ks. And then Led Zeppelin, your boy, he comes in, and we've got guys ending Hall of Fame careers potentially. Pujols gets the hit off Dominguez. He gets pinch run for. Goldie and Arenado get punched out. They come back out for the 9th. Dickerson fights one off, keeps the season alive. Yachty, same. Puts one into right field. We got 2 on. Tommy Edman is up. I'm screaming for Tommy. Put one in the gap. He fouls out. One of the worst feelings in baseball. And Philly starts to celebrate. They take 2 in St. Louis. They shut them out at home in the second game. Steal the first game from the jaws of defeat. And the Philadelphia Phillies, how's your NL East? They are moving on. Trevor, whoa.
You have to give all the credit to the Phils here. I mean, look, you went and shut out this team. Paul Goldschmidt didn't get a hit in the series. Did Arenado? Yeah, he had 1 hit in the series. I think he was 1 for 8 or something like that. I mean, you have to shut those guys down, and you did it. They went 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position in the series. That ain't gonna get it done. So all the credit goes to these guys. I mean, the bullpen, who we kind of like, hey, that's gonna be a weak point for them. They get it done. The defense, they get it done.
Yeah.
I'm all in my mentions. Alec Boehm making that play, stealing one from Arenado, taunting him. Oh, you're the best defensive third baseman in the league? I don't know. Not in this series. So it all came Phils. Bryce with the big homer there to start things off. You got to score first in these games, man. And then you get to start with a guy like Nola. You score first, put the pressure on that Cardinals offense, and that's exactly what they did. Dude, it's awesome to see, man. Like, the brand of baseball they're playing right now is exactly where they want to be. And they went in and they stole the first game. No doubt about that. They stole the first game. A bunch of lazy ground balls finding holes, but game 2, they went out and freaking beat the Cardinals at home. And you got to have all the confidence in the world if you're the Phillies right now. The way your starting pitching is pitched, you have to have those guys go. They went. And then you get the offense going a little bit, and they're a force, man. They're not just like sneaking into this thing. They're a force.
There's been a lot of talk about pitching this wild card weekend because it's been incredible, and especially the starters. I mean, even going back to yesterday, Bieber, McClanahan, Luis Castillo and what he did, Manoah, Darvish, Scherzer, Wheeler for the Phils. Quintana dropped it And then going into, Mackenzie Glass now. Robbie Ray, last year's Cy Young winner. I know he hasn't been as hot. Gossman, who's been electric. Jacob deGrom, arguably the best pitcher in the world. Snell and what he's done. And Aaron Nola, not a guy that rolls off a lot of people's tongues as one of the best pitchers in baseball. Even Wheeler, because, he's a FIP guy. A lot of people, you jump to Wheeler. He got the ball in game 1. Aaron Nola is one of the best, and he shut them down. 6.2 with the Cardinals back against the wall. He deserves all the credit in the world. Bryce Harper in a big playoff game. Enjoy him in any short playoff series because that guy can ruin your night. Just like we mentioned, Pete Alonso could have a 3-homer night tonight. Bryce Harper could do that on you in any given game. Shout out to the Phillies bullpen who followed it up. The Phillies defense, they made the plays. Like you said, we've been brutal on that defense. And, it's part of the reason we lose respect, I think, slightly for Wheeler and Nola because we see their ERA a little higher. And we're like, well, that ballpark and they don't have defense, but you still got to be a little better. The defense showed. The defense showed up. Alec Bohm. I mean, his season could be a 30 for 30 already. What he's doing in this series.
Do they give out MVPs for these series? I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
You would have won it.
Think so? Maybe.
I you know what? I'm getting killed in my mentions.
Yeah.
Phillies fans. I had the quote on this show previewing the series. I said, Arenado's going to break your heart.
Yeah.
With some defensive plays. You think you're going to steal a couple runs, and Arenado's said, no, I got you. And it was the opposite, man. Alec Bohm did that to Arenado. Alec Bohm was that guy, and you have to give credit, man. So I'm fine. Come kill me in my mentions. I don't care, man. I'm happy for the Phillies. Happy for Reeser, all those guys in that clubhouse, man. Like Topper. And that was the one thing after the game they just kept saying. Topper's our guy. Steady all throughout the year. Like set the tone. And I think, I talk shit about managers all the time, but there is something to be said about when he came in and having to steady them throughout the year. And now he's got them rolling, man, in the playoffs, going on to the DS. Let's fucking go. It's awesome, dude.
Can I say something? Brandon Marsh looks disgusting.
Okay.
The beard is intense, and if you want to go full beard, that's fine. A little Duck Dynasty baseball, knock yourself out, kid. His hair, it's like soaking wet.
It's always wet. It's always wet.
Long, and are there any girls that genuinely like that? Or is the whole point to not?
I just want to know how much he washes it. I'm curious.
It's gross.
He wets it all the time. I can never tell how clean it is.
It's gross.
400 in the series.
Yeah. And he tracks balls down, and we saw, all the little decisions that go into this. And, we don't say it a lot during the postseason. You still know your team better than us. So St. Louis, they had choices to make coming into this game. They started Yepes because he had the home run yesterday, and there was a ball that dropped between him and Nootbaar. It ends up not hurting them as my guy Monty fought through it. I mentioned it earlier. I think for St. Louis, hey, this is playoff baseball, right? We're seeing teams scrap for runs anywhere against a lot of high-level pitching. 8th inning, Pujols gets the single after Nootbaar walks. First and second, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. Trev, I know better than to say this, because I think people believe in it too much, and it's where baseball is brutal because, we're talking 92-mile-per-hour sliders. Goldie got a couple pitches to hit. It's not like there was just pitches in the dirt and he was swinging through them. Like he had a couple pitches to hit. He ends up swinging at a pitch out of the zone, 8th pitch of the at-bat, so it's not a bad at-bat. Like if he takes that 8th pitch, I'd say like hell of an at-bat from Paul Goldschmidt, but instead, and then Nolan Arenado swings through a slider too. So I don't know. Like, those are the two guys. If you told Cardinals fans season on the line in the 8th inning, I think they pick those two. Maybe Albert sneaks in there, but and they don't get it done.
Yeah, they had their chances. And Sir Anthony, I played with him. He has swing and miss stuff. I've seen a lot of bats go through those pitches. So, whether it's some funk and it doesn't really show up on TV, I don't know. But yeah, you're totally right. You're St. Louis. You want those guys up in that situation. They don't come through. And now you're going home. I think we have to talk about Pujols and Molina both getting hits in their last at bats. I think that's meaningful. I think that's really cool. I know they didn't want to go out like this and they'd want to keep going. And it was supposed to be, the storyline that was going to get them to the World Series. But they both got the ovation, and I don't know, man. I liked it. I like seeing them get a hit in their last at bat, even though they end up losing the game. Their careers are over. There's two of the people that every single baseball season that I can really remember, Albert Pujols and Yadi Molina have been involved in it, and I've talked about them and watched them play, and then now we're not going to see it again. It's kind of crazy to think about that, man.
Trev, it's one of those things. We had a funny phase in our Bronx office where we would put YouTube TV on, we'd maybe, if we did a Talking Yanks or Talking Baseball, they would stream it out there and they'd listen because, a lot of baseball fans, like Yankee fans, and then it would go into the YouTube algorithm. So that, there was I think the 98 home run derby used to roll on repeat, and sometimes classic games would pop up. And you forget all of these little memories and plays and pitches, or, oh yeah, that happened, and oh my God, they dropped a foul pop. You forget it in history because you remember the end, what happened. That's what your brain remembers. There was a little bit of this that you were like, this has to end up being an all-time classic. Albert Pujols gets the hit and then gets pinch ran for and gets the ovation of what could be the end of a Hall of Fame career, or if you get a ball in the gap, we might get to see him play tomorrow. Yadier Molina, who hadn't hit all year. Albert and Yadi kind of had the contradicting final seasons, right? Yadi kind of had the last year that it's dude, you're awesome. You are a Hall of Famer. But you're a catcher that's caught a lot of innings, my guy.
Yeah.
Albert, found the fountain of youth, Ponce de Leon. I don't even know what you do with that. Yachty, 2 outs, 2 strikes, season on the line, gets it done, stays in and drives one. He gets pinch run for. He gets the ovation. I'm having this moment I'm going to watch this as a YouTube replay in 5 years. And it doesn't happen.
Think about that, dude. Molina, end your career ending the game in the playoffs. That's not fun, dude. You're going to be thinking about that for a long time, but instead gets the knock. He's able to ride off into the sunset. Like I said, obviously he doesn't want to go home yet.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go home, it's nice to have that last knock in the bag. You got to feel good about that.
And yeah, it was kind of funny because I was the bottom of that Cardinals lineup felt a little thin. Hey, it's really unfair to say that when you're seeing Aaron Nola because a lot about him. But, Brendan Donovan's really young. I know he's nice, but he's young. Juan Yepes got thrown in. He didn't start the first game. Dickerson, didn't have his best year. Ended up having a nice game. Yadier Molina, Tommy Edman is kind of the reverse, second leadoff guy for that lineup. That I was saying in that inning, I was like, give me a Cardinals guy that's the threat, that's going to end this game, that's going to walk it off. Joe's McFly and his mountains of knowledge came back from Comic-Con, and he was being real wonky. He did something funky happen to him at Comic-Con, and he wouldn't tell us. But he was saying, he's like, actually in the postseason, you almost want the guy that's about to make his postseason memory. Paul Goldschmidt's going to get remembered either way. But you're looking for a guy that can kind of put their stamp on it. Man, I thought Tommy Edman, with how much we've talked about him this year and who he is, I thought for sure he was throwing a ball in the gap. Carlson was going to be giving it hell and trying to score from home. The foul pop-out is my most deflating out in baseball. easily, and it's just brutal on the 5th pitch of the at-bat that's how it goes down. So
yeah, he had the hole over there because they were shifted over. His first and third, they were shifted over a little bit on him. He had the hole. He gets it over there, but with the pop fly. Like, if he just puts that on the ground and hits the ground ball to third base, game goes on. Here we go. You're right.
Lineup.
Pop up foul outs are the worst. And I did that a lot for some reason.
Feels illegal. Like, it's like I kind of did something right and I'm not getting rewarded. Tough. What felt like a storybook season for the Cardinals for a while. 93 wins. Their retirement tour of their 3 legends doesn't happen. And I know Waino was getting worn out down the stretch, and I know Flaherty has his issues. And hey, we're kind of media now. We do a baseball show and blah blah blah. And I don't watch every Cardinals game. And I asked this last time. I think if I'm a Cardinals fan, no Flaherty, no Waino in this series. I know
there wasn't really an avenue.
It
for
wasn't
those guys.
the problem.
Yeah,
it wasn't the problem. Jack Flaherty may be in relief in that first one. Although again, Palante kind of did what he was asked.
He did his job. Yeah,
a little bit of that wouldn't sit great with me.
I mean, I get that because I wanted to see Jack pitch,
right.
And I thought they did. Like, going back to game 1 when they had them double barreled, I thought they did point to Jack, say, "You're the guy," and I was like, oh, I was Instagram living, and I was like, okay, Jay Flair's coming in, I got to go. And then all of a sudden they came back from commercial and it was Palante in there. And I mean, I think it was the right choice. He did his job. He got the ground balls. They were just hit in the wrong places, bro.
Yeah. And
sometimes that happens. So I don't think you can really put it on that. I think they had the guys in that they wanted. And I think it's just a postseason 3-game series that fucking anything can happen, man.
Right.
And the Phillies took advantage of it, dude. They came back and did it, dude. Like, and that's why momentum is so important in the playoffs. Like, you win that game and it's like, are you playing with house money? You kind of feel that way. And it's like you get to play free the next day. The pressure is not there.
Trev, it's a great point. I mean, like you said, the Rays bullpen, you gave them more credit because they deserve it. Because every time they were out there, their season could end.
Yeah.
I think we saw that a little bit yesterday, even with that Padres late comeback. Like, if you win the first game of the wild card, as we're learning this new format, house money day, that's a good spot to be in. I love
game
house
2,
money. Yeah.
You can do funky things. You can try things. You can do all sorts of, it's interesting. I'm now that we're here, Jakey.
Yeah.
We got 1 game left, but essentially this wild card round is over-ish. What do you feel about it?
You give me a little house money around a roulette table, I turn into a very different guy.
That is the worst game, but so fun.
So fun. When that ball starts bouncing, all of my demons come out. I like the format. I like that it's not 1 game.
Yeah.
Because that just stings so much more. Like, that, I guess that's the thing. At the end of the day, St. Louis and Toronto, you're hurting bad. Rays fans, too, you're hurting. But at the end of the day, especially Toronto and St. Louis, you had 2 games at home, and you didn't win one of them. Yeah. So there's kind of no coming back from that. Like, in previous years, it's 1 game. 1 ball hits the foul pole, and your season could be over. And that's baseball season. With this, you had 2 games at home, and you didn't win one. So you can't really say much. That's it. Do you like it?
I do. I think that causes managers to have to think. It's not long enough where you're just blowing everybody out in the bullpen, and you're in the next series is tough. I think everyone's going to be fresh. I think it's going to be fine. I like it. 3 games seems right. 1 game was awesome for fans, but crappy for baseball players.
Yeah.
I think 3 games feels right.
Well, the Phillies go on to play the Braves. How's your NL East? Like I said, one of those teams will be in the CS, and if the Mets win tonight, it would be a very good look for the NL East. So, We'll see if Coastal Elitists reign strong. Either way, they will, I guess. San Diego, they're on that other coast. Anything else before we go, Trevor Plouffe?
That's it, man.
Okay.
One game tonight.
We will be live streaming. Join us. Have some fun. Buy some merch. Our merch, me, Trev, and Z-Man, decked out today in John Boy Media swag. We have great fall gear. Trev's windbreaker, my hoodie, the hats, all of it. Go check that out. We'll be streaming tonight. We'll see. Do we do a separate Mets Padres recap? Yeah, because then we're going to do a Mets, we'll do a Dodgers, whoever they're playing preview. So, yeah. So, okay. So, check out for that on the tube tomorrow. I guess podcast only, that'll just be one app. We'll record that clean. Thank you, guys. Enjoy. And we are almost on to DS Baseball. So, thank you. We love you. See you soon.
I won't do it.
No shoe on the head.
I will not do
Maybe
it.
Mariners fans will accept
Never
you.
worn these. Birkenstocks are just not me. Jake sucks.
You just lost all of Seattle. You had a chance.
You can tell I've worn them a few times. See my toes right there?
I see the toe prints.
Olivia will not let me wear these. So
Always blew my mind on those like Pringly sandals that where your toes would go would just like empty. Like how's that work?
no cowboy hat and I can't wear these either. What the fuck?